My wife cheated with her ex just 2 weeks after our wedding. Then she came back begging 14 days after our wedding. My wife Emma looked up from her coffee and smiled like everything in our life was perfect. I need to meet Ryan one last time, she said. Ryan was her ex-boyfriend. She quickly reached across the table and held my hand. Please don't overthink it. He just wants closure before he moves overseas. It'll only be coffee. Most husbands probably would have argued. I didn't. Not because I trusted Ryan. I trusted my wife. At least, I thought I did. We had spent almost 3 years building a relationship that survived long distance, demanding jobs, and countless sacrifices. 2 weeks earlier, we had stood in front of our families in Denver, Colorado, exchanging vows we both promised would last forever. I still remembered the way Emma looked at me when she said, "I do." I believed every word. So when she asked for one afternoon to close an old chapter, I convinced myself that mature relationships were built on trust, not control. You'll be back tonight? I asked. She smiled. Of course. Then she kissed my cheek, grabbed her purse, and walked toward the door. I had no idea that simple goodbye would become the beginning of the end. Hours passed. 6. Then 8. By 10 o'clock that night, my messages were still unanswered. I called once. Straight to voicemail. I told myself her phone battery had died. Around midnight, a text finally appeared. Staying with a friend tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. Love you. It felt strange. Emma never spent the night anywhere without telling me beforehand. Still, I ignored the uncomfortable feeling growing inside my chest. The next morning, she didn't come home. Neither did the next evening. By Sunday afternoon, nearly 48 hours had passed. I was no longer worried. I was confused. Then I was afraid. I called hospitals. Nothing. I called mutual friends. Nobody had seen her. Finally, Sunday night, the front door unlocked. Emma walked inside carrying the same handbag she'd left with 2 days earlier. She looked exhausted. Her makeup was gone. Her hair was tied back in a messy ponytail. The first thing she said wasn't, "I'm sorry." It wasn't, "I missed you." Instead, she forced a smile. "You look stressed." I stared at her. "Where were you?" She hesitated. "My phone died." "For 2 days?" "I stayed at Jessica's." I frowned. "Jessica's in Miami visiting her parents." Emma blinked. "Oh. I meant Ashley." Something inside me quietly shifted. Emma almost never mixed up her friends' names. That tiny mistake echoed louder than any confession could have. Over the next week, everything changed. Not dramatically. Quietly. She laughed less. She kept her phone face down. A new passcode appeared overnight. She started taking calls outside. Whenever I entered the room unexpectedly, she would quickly lock her screen. None of those things proved anything. But together, they painted a picture I didn't want to believe. One evening, I gently asked, "Did something happen with Ryan?" She looked offended. "I can't believe you'd even ask me that. I just want the truth." "You don't trust me?" That question ended the conversation. Not because she answered it. Because she used it to avoid answering mine. A few days later, I was grabbing lunch near my office when someone called my name. It was Daniel. An old college friend who happened to work for a luxury hotel near Lake Evergreen. We talked for a few minutes before he casually smiled. "So, how's married life?" I laughed. "It's been interesting." He nodded. "I almost came over to say hello last weekend." "What do you mean?" "I thought I saw you guys checking into the resort." My smile disappeared. "The resort?" "Yeah." He looked confused. "Maybe it wasn't you." I saw Emma with some guy. I assumed it was you until I got closer. For a moment, the entire restaurant became silent. What guy? Daniel frowned. Tall. Dark hair. Black SUV. I figured he was your brother or something. I forced a smile. Yeah. Probably someone else. But my hands were shaking beneath the table. Because I already knew. Ryan drove a black SUV. That evening, I sat alone in our living room. Emma was upstairs taking a shower. I looked at our wedding photo sitting beside the television. 14 days. That's all our forever had lasted. I wanted Daniel to be wrong. I wanted there to be another explanation. I wanted anything except the truth. My instincts were already screaming. The sound of running water echoed through the house. I closed my eyes. Then I quietly asked myself one question. What if the marriage I was trying to save had already ended, and I was the last person willing to admit it?